Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be talking about trucks and resale value on trucks, and basically what determines the resale value on trucks. And then at the end of the video, I'm basically going to get into the trucks that currently on the market, what I have seen have the best resale value essentially, and the answers at the end might actually surprise you. So first off, let's get into the actual components that go into resale value for a truck. And I do actually have my notes here so that I can obviously get everything correct and not miss anything. So the first thing that is going to help with resale, and these cup holders are super handy, of course, anyways, is going to be cab configuration. So there's several different cab configurations you can get with most trucks. You can get typically, what's called a crew cab, which is the biggest size of cab on a truck. You can get what's called a quad cab, or like Ford calls it their super cab, or typically it's just that smaller size basically cab. So it's still 4 doors, but then you've got like a full front door, and then the back doors are like the really small doors. Sometimes the trucks will have like suicide doors in the back, and then finally you have a single cab. Essentially, Ram does have another cab configuration. It's called the mega cab, but we're just gonna leave that out of this for now because that's just Ram. But anyways, those are the 3 main cab configurations. Now, the cab configuration that has actually been having the best resale value in the market currently has been the crew cab. And the reason being is that's what everyone wants right now. Single cabs are typically, now this isn't all the time, but typically reserved for business use. And since they're typically reserved for business use, a lot of people have this stigma with single cabs where they just go, okay, that's a work truck, and they're not going to buy it. Now, the other thing is going to be the, quad cab or super cab or whatever. That one, a lot of people will get it, but not nearly as much as the crew cab. And it's just because there's not a lot of space in the back. And a lot of people purchase trucks for the utilitarian reasons of using it for truck stuff, but then also they need to carry people around. And having a really small back door doesn't help with carrying people around. So typically, the quad cab, super cab, whatever you're going to call it, will not have as good of resale value because there's just less buyers for it. More people want to have the big back seats. They want to be able to carry around, if it's a family, all of their family members. If it's a work crew on like a construction site, they want to be able to carry around all of the workers for that site. So the actual cab size is very important. Now, the number 2 thing is going to actually be bed length. And this actually doesn't really affect resale value, but I still wanted to mention it because it can make it harder or easier to sell a truck based on bed length. So different trucks struggle to sell based on the bed length that they have. So for example, if you buy a single cab with a short bed, there's, chances are there's less of a market for that than a single cab with a long bed. And again, that's because typically single cabs are work trucks, so people usually want longer beds with those. But then on the complete opposite spectrum, if you buy a full crew cab with a long bed, it sometimes is harder to find a buyer because a lot of people like, most of the cab configurations with that is a crew cab, so the bigger back doors with a short bed. And it's just because that truck's easier to drive. Obviously, if you take it off-roading, it's easier to, maneuver off-road and all that kind of stuff. And so a lot of people in that segment will be looking for a crew cab short bed. So bed length won't necessarily affect the monetary amount that a truck will be sold for, but it can affect the ability to sell a truck on the market. So what I'm saying by that is it might be harder, or it might take you longer to sell a truck if it has a weird bed configuration, essentially. Now, another thing that can affect the resale value is actually the driveline. So whether a truck is 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive. Now, a lot of you will be saying, well, this is biased because you're in Utah and it snows, and so obviously 2-wheel drive trucks won't be worth as much in Utah. However, I have a lot of sources. Basically, we have stores that are in places like Arizona, California, and New Mexico with the group. So all those places, 2-wheel drive trucks are everywhere, and they still don't have really good resale value. And the reason that I'm thinking that they don't have good resale value with 2-wheel drive trucks is just because trucks, again, it's a utilitarian vehicle, and people purchase it with the intent to use it. And when you make a truck 2-wheel drive, it's hard to, you can drive it in these circumstances, but it does make it difficult in a lot of places, snow, if you go in sand, off-roading, all that kind of stuff. It may limit the amount of places you can take the truck, so then obviously there's less buyers for the truck, less of a demand, so then the prices will go down. So if you're deciding between 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, Even though four-wheel drive does cost a little bit more from brand new, it holds its value significantly better. The next one is actually engine options in a truck, and this actually can affect resale value on a truck. So this will vary manufacturer to manufacturer, right? Every single manufacturer has different engines, right? Ram has their 3.6 liter V6, they've got their EcoDiesel, they've got their Hemi, all that kind of stuff. Ford, they've got the 2.7 EcoBoost, they've got the 5.0 V8, they've got the 3.5 EcoBoost. Chevy has the 5.3 V8, they've got that 3 liter inline 6 Duramax, they've got the 6.2 V8. All the truck manufacturers have different engines, and typically on terms of resale value, it's usually either the V8 option or the highest power output option. That typically holds its value the best in terms of the truck on resale. So like with a Ford, typically the 3.5 EcoBoosts, and especially if they have the higher power outputs, like the high output on the Raptor that I have behind me, those will usually have a better resale value than trucks that don't. So like trucks with a 2.7 or trucks with a 5.0, the resale value on them is actually not as good. And the same thing goes with Ram. The resale value on a 5.7 Hemi is significantly better than a 3.6 liter V6. And Chevy, I've seen the 6.2s, and they pull just so much more money compared to the brand new sticker price versus the selling price used. They just seem to pull more market. So the more premium engines seems like they actually have better resale value. And then obviously diesel engines and half tons typically do pretty well. Like Ram's EcoDiesels, they hold their value. Even though the little thing with the update on them has kind of hurt their value a bit, they still hold their value pretty well. So engine options, definitely if you're, again, worried about resale, looking at the more premium engine options is going to help you out. The next one is going to be packages on trucks, and what I'm talking about is actually trim levels. So, for example, if you're looking at Ram, it'd be comparing a Laramie to a Bighorn to a Rebel, and with Ford it'd be like an XLT to a Platinum to a Lariat, all that kind of stuff. So trim packages. With trucks, the trim packages that typically hold their value the best are unique packages where they're lower production, and that's with any vehicle. The other thing that's going to help out with resale value on trucks is typically off-road packages. So you notice that Ford Raptors hold their value really well. Off-road package. You notice with the Toyotas, the Tacoma TRD, anything that has TRD with Tacoma on it, or sorry, not Tacoma, but Toyota on it, typically holds its value really well. But again, off-road package. The Ram Rebel holds its value really well. Off-road package. So typically off-road packages on any vehicle are going to hold their value really well. So with trucks, it is no different. That being said, again, if there's like a specialty package, something that they're doing lower production numbers on, just because of the lower production numbers, if it's something really cool, that can also help you out. But kind of like the rule of thumb currently is if your truck has an off-road package on it, and I mean like dedicated off-road package, so like a Ram with the off-road group, or like an FX4 Ford or a Z71 package Chevy, that's not going to cut it. You've got to do like a dedicated off-road truck. So Trail Boss, Raptor, Rebel, all that kind of stuff, you've got to do the dedicated package to get the best resale value out of the truck. Now, the next one is going to be options on trucks. If you're, trying to strike for resale value, getting a lot of options is not the thing that you want to do. And I know that might seem a little bit funny to all of you, because the Raptor behind me, I got pretty much every single option you can get on the truck, which obviously is not going to help me out with resale value. And the reason being is trim levels or packages on trucks have far more value holding ability essentially compared to options. So typically, options that are added onto a vehicle, they will depreciate really, really quickly. Sometimes they'll depreciate almost 100%, whereas packages are what hold their value. So for example, this Raptor behind me that's stickered for almost $75,000, if I had bought the same Raptor Super Crew with no options, it stickers for about $58,000, $60,000, somewhere in that range. If I went to sell that truck, I would lose significantly less money than, when I go to sell this truck, obviously. So getting less options on a truck is going to help with resale value. Now, that's something you have to decide. You kind of have to do a pros and cons list. Like for me, getting every option is pretty much a necessity for this channel, because if I get a base model Raptor, it's not going to do as well content-wise compared to a fully loaded Raptor. So that's why I had to get all the options. But for someone just buying a truck for personal use, you just have to decide if you're going to use them. Are you going to use a panoramic sunroof? Are you going to use the beadlock rims that this comes with? Are you going to use the upgraded Recaro seats? You have to really think about all the options that the truck has, and if you're not going to use them, there's no sense in paying for them, because they're going to depreciate so readily that it's not like you're getting your money back anyways. Now, I just want to kind of reiterate all of the points again before I get into what trucks I have seen have essentially the best resale value. So like I said, cab configuration is super important, and right now on the market it seems like the bigger cabs, the crew cabs, are doing the best on the market. Bed length can have an effect in terms of just the time it takes you to sell the truck, so just take that into consideration, but it won't really decrease the money that your truck is worth. And then obviously, you know, the drive line, so if it's two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive right now is doing the best on the market right now. The, you know, next thing is going to be with the actual packages themselves. So on the trucks, you know, what package you're getting. Like I said, off-road packages have seemed to be doing the best lately, essentially. Options, you don't want to get a ton of options, because the more options you get, the more the truck is going to depreciate, because options a lot of times, like I said, I mean, they just add so much money into the sticker price that it's usually not worth it anyways. But so, you know, a lot of those factors, and I feel like I'm forgetting something, but anyways, a lot of those factors obviously will, you know, change a truck and the resale value on it. And if you kind of play with all those things, then you can help in turn have the best resale value. With that all being said, the trucks that I have seen have the best resale value on the market currently. One of them sitting right behind me, Ford Raptor. Now, a Raptor, like I said, that doesn't have a ton of options has been doing better in the market than the Raptors that are fully loaded. But the Ford Raptors and the Super Crew, the Super Cab Raptors, haven't been doing as well in the market, but Super Crew Cab Raptors, those have been doing really well. A Ram Rebels have been doing exceptionally well in the used market, from selling price, not sticker price, by the way, guys, selling price of those trucks to market price. Like for example, on my Rebel, I didn't really lose any money from what I paid for it brand new. The next one I've noticed is Toyota, with the Tacomas and with the Tundras. Most of their packages are okay, but again, the TRD packages, especially the TRD Pros, I mean, those TRD Pros, they are worth so much money used. It's stupid sometimes. But continuing, the Chevy Trail Bosses, I've noticed that those have done pretty well. The Chevys in general, they actually hold their value pretty decently. I would have to say though, 6.2 Chevys definitely do better than the 5.3s on the market from what I've seen. If they've got the new 10-speed automatic transmission in them, obviously, which all the 6.2s have that. But continuing to other brands, Nissan, it's been a little bit rough for them. If you're going to get a Nissan, I think it's 5.6 liter. The 5.6 liter V8, you're going to be better off than getting that 5 liter Cummins V8, because yeah, that engine is just bad. Those trucks, just stay away from that. And then if we, you know, basically go up to the heavy duties, diesels obviously do better resale value than the Hemi engines. However, the Hemi engines cost significantly less, so that again is going to be a whole nother video I'm going to make. But what I've been noticing across the board with those trucks is the diesel engines on the heavy duties obviously do better. Chevy's been really strong actually still. Ram has been really strong. Ford, not so much. I love the brand. Obviously, I've got a Ford, but the heavy duties on the Fords haven't been doing so great. And then if you're wondering why I haven't mentioned any luxury packages on trucks, they're cool. They have all the bells and whistles, but they aren't necessarily the best packages for resale value. So I guess to sum it up, if you're looking to have the best resale value in a truck, get an off-road truck with a crew cab and a short bed and four-wheel drive, and you will decrease the amount of money that you lose, or a base model version, I guess I should say. You will decrease the amount of money you lose by a significant amount. If you're stopping for the first time, I really appreciate if you'd subscribe, comment down below what you think, and then I will see all of you in that next video.